Hello again, everybody. Welcome back to the train room. Today we've got a Canadian Pacific potash service rolling through the town of Fairview. Part of my ongoing attempts to sort out the kind of services that I'm going to be running when I'm doing operations on my layout. But this is a layout update at the end of November 2023, and although initially I thought there wasn't that much to share with you, one of the things that I've tried this month, rather than finding the time to dedicate myself to kind of a couple of hours at a time, I've actually switched to just trying to do very short self-contained sessions which build up over the course of the month. And as I have been filming this update, it seems that that approach has been quite positive. I've made a fair amount of progress upstairs on the Aspen Grove Industrial Park extension, and we'll go up there in a moment. But first of all, I just wanted to share with you some new rolling stock, which is one of the reasons why I've got this particular service running this evening, because just a couple of weeks ago I met a very nice chap called Tom, who is very local to me. That's perhaps more unusual these days in the UK than you might realise, especially when you're thinking about modelers who have any kind of interest in American outline railroad modelling. But Tom was selling off some of his surplus rolling stock, and so if I just start to pan the camera here slightly, I acquired from him 4 3-bay hopper cars. And although they've got all sorts of different liveries, the main reason why I wanted them is because I already had a couple of the Atlas models in the rather distinctive Potash livery. So a service which, when I visited Canada in 2018, I saw huge long trains, sometimes over 100 cars, and it's a service I really would, from the beginning, would have liked to have incorporated into my layout. Now that some aspects of my sort of conceptual background work to Fairview is shifting slightly, I think I've found a way to do that. But what it meant was that I thought now was the time to actually start to build up a potash train. I do, however, now understand that the Atlas cars are not quite the right pattern. If we just move a little further along the train, so this is a model by a company called North American Railcar Corporation, and looking at photographs and diagrams of the real potash cars, I can see that these are entirely accurate. Aspects of the shape of the body side, number of ribs, everything else, they're very, very detailed and accurate models, much better in that sense than the Atlas cars, which are not quite right. But frankly, over here in the UK at least, they are absolute gold dust. This is the only one I've ever been able to pick up. I got it several months ago. I'm aware that they are quite expensive models even in North America. So I think for the time being at least what I'm going to do is settle for these Atlas cars, being a close approximation to the real thing. I've ordered a set of decals, and I'm going to start now stripping off the existing liveries on these models and slowly but surely getting them looking the part, at least, so that I can have something of a Potash train. I have got some wagons in the pink Potash Corp livery as well, and I know that sometimes trains have a mix of them, so I should be able to at least put together a service consisting of maybe about 10 cars to start with, and I'll keep trying to find some more. So that's a project for the coming months. You know, over the course now of the winter, I'll slowly convert and change the liveries and weather them up, and that will be a new service running on Fairview. Okay, so we've moved upstairs to my study where I have the Aspen Grove Industrial Park shelf layout. This is designed to be an adjunct to the main layout, but I just haven't got enough room down in the garage. And this is where I've been making some good progress over the last few weeks. Unfortunately, I lost some footage of starting the ballasting of the track. I'll have to come back to that again when I do another session of that. But as you can see here, I've started to put down some basic ground cover. My technique is nothing new. I tend to coat the area first of all with some emulsion latex paint in just a really bog standard brown, and then while that's still wet, sift over a mixture of sand and dirt from my back garden to create at least a basic ground texture. There's going to be several more steps yet, not least in some areas at least, probably building it up a bit more thickly before I do any other sort of textures and vegetation and things like that. But for now at least, this gives the whole area just a good sort of unifying coat of an appropriate earth type finish, and means that the layout at least is beginning to look a bit better. I also got round to putting in a gravel lot around the disused carpet store, a model which I built, oh well, a couple of months ago at least now, sometime earlier this year, and up until now it's just been standing on a piece of MDF but didn't have any gravel lot around it. So I mixed up my usual sort of sloppy grout and sand mix and dolloped that onto the layout and smoothed it out. In due course it's got to have a top layer of what looks like looser stones to sort of represent the actual surface of the parking lot and so on. But again, that's all starting to come together quite well now. On a different session, I added a bit more ground texture. As I say, in some places at least I want it to be quite a decent depth even before I start adding any vegetation. And then when I was satisfied that that was at a decent kind of basic level, again, nothing new, sprayed the whole area with some wet water, as they call it, and then drizzled it with a mixture of IPA and woodworking glue, white glue, just to make sure that everything is properly and permanently fixed down. Means that this area is beginning to look something like the finished affair. It's also worth, when you've got everything ready, I find taking a few sort of standard shots of everything just to start getting a sense of how the scene is coming together with finished buildings and some trees. And obviously, when you're happy that things are looking quite good, it's really important that you run a train through the area. So here we go. Burlington Northern 6773 has run into the industrial park to collect some chemical tanks from Univar Chemicals, and is now hauling them back to the Fairview yard, ready to be taken to all points east and west. So there we go. On the whole, it's been a pretty positive few weeks, with some good progress made on some aspects of landscaping, and lots of thinking time about the kind of background concept of how I want Fairview to appear in the future, as well as some sort of developments in the area of operations. I'll be posting up a new video, hopefully in the next few weeks. One or two people in recent comments have said they'd like to know a little bit more about the operational side of things on Fairview, so keep your eyes out for that. I'll try and make a film about that before too much longer. But for now, as I just wrap up my video for this month, thanks very much as always for tuning in and for all your comments. Please do give the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed what you've seen, and if you're not a subscriber yet, well then why not go ahead and subscribe too for further updates. We're just waiting now here at the yard at Fairview for a westbound intermodal train to roll through town, and then once that's cleared the siding, our Potash train will be able to get going again. So thanks again for watching, take care of yourselves, happy model making, and I hope to see you again soon. Bye for now.